evening. My name is Julia Inman, and I'm refuting my opponent's claim of fact that the drinking age should be lowered to 18 instead of the current age of 21. I disagree that the drinking age should be lowered due to putting young adults at a greater risk, both mentally and physically, and protecting the population. My opponent claimed that the law as it is now does not prevent underage drinking. I would first like to address that the law was made to protect young adults from consuming alcohol when they are not ready to consume it due to both mental and physical reasons. My opponent cited John M. McCardle, former president of Middlebury College in Vermont and founder of Choose Responsibility, that it does not reduce drinking, it simply puts young adults at a greater risk. What puts young adults at a greater risk is allowing them to consume alcohol when their bodies are not prepared to handle it. The Regional Prevention Center posted in 2008 that the area that controls judgments and weighing risks and consequences does not fully develop until the age of 25. This means that those under the age of 25 are more likely to engage in thrill-seeking activity and less able to appreciate the consequences of risky behavior. The effects of alcohol are also slowing perceptual and motor skills, so given to a person who has an immature brain function in these areas already, leads to dangerous effects which can cause long-term damage like addiction. This leads me to refute my opponent's second reason, which was that the drinking age at 21 can create addiction amongst teenagers. He claimed that people tend to gulp alcohol in large quantities on certain occasions when they cannot get alcohol at the event because they are underage, which can in turn cause binge drinking. When people get into this bad habit of downing alcohol, they get addicted. The Regional Prevention Center posted in 2008 that for every day we delay the onset of drinking, studies have shown that we substantially increase the likelihood that our child will never have a problem with alcohol or drugs. This explicit aim of existing policy is to delay underage alcohol use as long as possible, and even if use begins, to reduce its frequency and quantity as much as possible. Allowing public use of drinking for 18-year-olds would cause addiction to happen sooner and allow them to drink in public. Thirdly, my opponent claimed that lowering the drinking age would create a safer and controllable environment for the ages of 18 to 20. He stated that 18 to 20-year-olds should be able to drink in bars, restaurants, and other licensed establishments. The problem with this is that with allowing a greater segment of the population to drink alcohol in bars and nightclubs does not mean these are safer environments, because 76% of bars have sold alcohol to obviously intoxicated patrons, and about half of drivers arrested for driving while intoxicated or killed as alcohol-involved drivers in traffic crashes did their drinking at licensed establishments. This also goes with the fact that lowering the age to 18 would cause more deaths and accidents. The Center Council Distillers Fighting Drunk Driving and Underage Drinking posted from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that the underage drunk driving fatalities for the year 2010 were 1,228. On average, more than 3 people under the age of 21 die each day in alcohol-impaired driving crashes. Not to mention that people can get alcohol poisoning and become victims of rape. A Help Guide organization for educational supplements from Harvard Health Publications defined alcohol as a central nervous system depressant, which, when drinking too much too fast, slows some bodily functions such as heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing to a dangerous level, causing the drinker to lose consciousness. The result of alcohol poisoning, if not treated, can be deathly. Teenage girls who drink are more likely to have unprotected sex than girls who don't drink, putting them at an increased risk of pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases. This shows that allowing teenagers to drink would only open up a doorway for more deaths and dangerous situations to occur. Lastly, my opponent claimed that forbidden or inaccessible things become more desirable. The Regional Prevention Center posted in 2008 that if we allowed drinking at a younger age, it would not mitigate youthful desires of forbidden fruit. It would merely make the alcohol more available to an even younger population. The practices of 18-year-olds are particularly influential to 15 to 17-year-olds, thus allowing more opportunities for an even lower age group to attain alcohol if the drinking age was legalized to 18. In conclusion, there are so many negative effects of alcohol that thinking about opening it up to 18-year-olds would only allow those negative effects to start happening at an even younger age and cause more hazards to the population. Thank you.
All right, the idea of the claims is fine. You present counterclaims on most of the points, and you've got good evidence that you're referring to on a pretty regular basis. I do think that you're very dependent on the counterclaims to support your arguments, and they're good counterclaims, and sometimes you provide some analysis that also suggests why the reasoning is better, but you're not always talking about what the advocate's information on those points were, and that would give us a little bit more ability to offer a contrast between your positions. Listening to what you said just now, of course, it sounds very persuasive and appealing. If the argument was being made on the same day, for instance, if they had also evidence that was appealing and believable, then I'm not sure why I would prefer one over the other. If, on the other hand, you could point out that they failed to provide evidence or they used their evidence in the wrong way and that your evidence is therefore more believable, or that the reasoning that they used is problematic and that you gave a reason that is not only demonstrated in reality but is supported consistently, then I think we've got some standard for making a comparison that's a little bit more workable. So I don't have any problem with the counterclaims that you present. It's like with the speech that we heard earlier. You've got good information on those particular points, but it's not really being contrasted to the advocate's position. The closest that you get to that is when you argue the issue on drinking in legal establishments. That, I thought, was an attempt to really address the issue that the advocate presented, which is, they'll be more well regulated and everything. And your denial argument here, which you support with some very good evidence, seems to go to the reasoning process that they used, not just to present a counterclaim on that point. Whereas on some of the other points, it's just counterclaims. So I thought that point really does address the reasoning issue a little bit more. All right, thank you.